Yeah. We get lit, we get fly, we get drunk, we get high, but to the masses, we have a podcast called Verified. I'm your boy, JopauL. I'll be the host this evening, brought to you by Radio Pushers and ResultsAndNoHype.com. We got the next up and comer. We got the Zoe God himself. We got the Real Haiti up in the place. Remember that, that Hit the Wave challenge? Yeah, we're going to talk about all of that right now. Without further ado,
Right.
my man, the Real Lil Haiti, thank you for taking your time out. I know you're so busy. I spoke to all your peoples, and I saw that you're booked, like, literally solid. So I appreciate you even taking out the time to do this with us.
Now, of course, you the bro. You the bro. So I had to. We had to make sure we made it happen. Feel me?
I
Definitely.
appreciate that.
Appreciate you for having me on here too.
Hey, listen, let's jump right into it, man, because I know your time is valuable. So, I ain't trying to have your label, like, bill me for extra time and shit like that, because I know that, time is money right
Nah,
now.
nah.
So,
You good. You good.
thank you, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate your blessing. So how did you
Of
get
course.
started in music? I mean, I was reading your bio that you started at a very, very early age, and the accolades that I see that you've achieved, since you've been starting, um, is quite exceptional. You don't really see that, from today's, quote unquote rapper, having like an actual musical background. So let's speak on that a little bit.
Well, I started like when I was 5. You know, back in Haiti, I started as 5. We used to have like little bands and stuff like that, like doing Mardi Gras and stuff like that. So I was at an early age. I was actually a leader of all the group that I was placed on. Or most of the time, I created a lot of these events. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy because the we had folks like your age. I mean, I don't know your age, but older like yourself, and
What
I
do you
was
mean by
literally
age?
5. Not like that.
I'm not, I'm playing, I'm playing. Go ahead, go ahead. Didn't mean to
You know
cut
what I
you with.
mean? Yeah, I was 5, so I had people like grown folks like you and myself right now that was part of my whole clique, and I was the one making the calls, the ideas, and it was insane because looking back now, it's like wow, what that's crazy. You know what I mean? So that was around like 5 years old. Actually, when I came out here further down the line, I started as a producer. So I was mostly producing my own records. As you can see, like the Hit the Wave, I also produced that record. You know
That's
what I
what's up.
mean? Yeah.
Yeah, and the reason, and I know it's a little bit, dated right now. So, when you show me posted on Instagram, I don't want you to be like, oh, yo, this song's like, a couple years old now. That's not what we're
Yeah,
pushing. But that's what got it all started, and that's what started the wave. So
that's
I
a
needed
fact.
to, I kind of needed to, set the precedence for a lot of my followers that maybe are a little in the older age of bracket, that wouldn't really know about that. I needed to
Yeah,
educate them, bring them back to the essence, so this way they could accept your presence. You feel me?
yeah, I agree. That was a good move. A lot of people don't do it like that. So that's an A+ for you.
Hey, thank you, man. Appreciate it. I'm new in this game. I mean, I've been in the music game for 20 years, and I've been a rapper since since the glory days of hip hop. So it's like this little transition. I just want to make sure that I'm doing the right thing. By my fellow artists. Especially up and comers, especially like backed by the people that you're backed. It's like I want to make sure that I do all the right thing because I ain't trying to have the Zoe Mafia at my door like. Hey, yo, Paul, you said the wrong thing. We got to take care of that. So
we're not gonna do that. We you family. You good. You good. You good.
appreciate it. So talk to me about like talk to me about your family. Like what did what your parents do? How did they inspire you to come up? I don't really know too much about your family life. I could have done a little research, but I like to get it like fresh, right off the pot, straight from the horse's mouth. Not
Yeah,
for me to
yeah.
clone your horse.
Yeah. My family was poor. You know what I mean? Just to keep it 1,000. This is why um I'm here. You know what I'm saying? That's what motivate me. To go hard to do what I do because they didn't have it. You know, I
Respect.
wasn't born with I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth. I had to go hard and grind hard. So seeing my parents go through it and struggle and you know to make ends meet. You know what I'm saying? And being a little bit older now, noticing that when I was a child, seeing all this happening, I didn't really understand it till now. You know what I'm saying? So that kind of motivate me. Not kind of, this definitely motivate me to really go hard. You know, my mom, way before my mom used to work in a factory. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that was years back, you know what I'm saying? So that's how she was getting it. But around that time, it was okay, you know what I'm saying? She was getting it because, money worth a lot more before that, and you know what I'm saying? So
Right.
you could have buy a couple of things with a few cents or whatever dollars, and it was cool. But now there's a lot of stuff you can't afford with even a dollar. You feel me? So,
Exactly.
you know, they didn't have it good, but this is why I'm great now, because I was able to learn from what they were doing, going hard. And this is not something easy everybody could do. For you to have 3, 4 jobs to take care of 2 kids, you feel me?
I feel you. So you turn your struggle into passion, which basically,
Exactly.
converted into hard work, which is
Yeah.
now achievement and success, and salute to your recent success, because I've been watching for a while, and
Yeah.
yeah, I'm like, yo, we got one now. It's like,
Yes,
Brooklyn
sir.
in the building. It's like New
Yes,
York
sir.
needs that music back.
Yes, sir. Once you see a parent struggle like that, it kind of it motivates you. You know what I'm saying? It
But
puts you in
I
the
also
right.
feel like it teaches you like good work ethics in yourself. It's like, if it's good enough for my parents, then it's good enough for me. It's like I can't be so proud. It's like, even if I don't have a lot growing up, I still appreciate what I do have. Like I was talking about it on my last podcast with DJ EFN from Drink Champs, and he says when you grow up poor, it's like you don't know no better. It's like you kind of just accept what it is, and you appreciate it that much more when you realize, like, oh, my parents had to struggle. It's like this was not all glitter and glitz, but they made it beautiful for me. So I respect
That's a
them that much
fact.
more. That's why I work as hard as I do now.
That's a fact. That's a fact, and that's exactly what happened. Like you would never knew my parents was poor. Because I ate good. The bills were paid. You know what I'm saying? I went to school clean, smell good. That's I
That's important.
appreciate that.
Smelling
Yeah,
good is
that's
important.
important. Yeah,
The
yeah,
females tell me,
exactly.
they don't want nobody that smells all ratchet. They
Of
told me.
course not. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm thankful. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what allowed me to grow and be the person that I am today. So I would never look away from that. I would never not share it. You know what I'm saying? Because
I
it's
appreciate
important.
that.
Yeah,
I mean, and
definitely.
I say this in every podcast. I say, to regret any decision or any event that happened, in your past life, is to not fully appreciate the person you are today. So as long as you are happy and content with the person you are today, everything is just a blessing, a memory, and an experience that you could grow on, and move
That's
past. And this way you transition. And that's why you're here with us on the Verified Podcast, baby.
that's a fact. That's a fact. That's a fact.
So you were born in Haiti.
Born in Haiti. Yes, sir.
Okay, and then you moved to right to Brooklyn, or did you live
Yeah, yeah.
anywhere else before Brooklyn?
Nah, I came straight out here. Came straight
Okay,
out
what
here.
what area in Brooklyn?
Crown Heights.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
still Crown Heights. I used to
Crown
be out in
Heights.
Brooklyn, all in the wonderful nice neighborhoods, like Saratoga and Brownsville and Stanley Ave in East New York. So shout out to all my peoples out in Brooklyn, and I'm glad
Shout
that
out to
like
all of them.
I'm glad you rep in Brooklyn, because it's like we thought we had one when Bobby Shmurda, dropped, and then all of a sudden he got locked up, and then rest in peace, Pop Smoke. It's like we had another one there. It's like we really thought New York was going to come back and hit hard, because I mean, let's be honest, on the music scene, New York, we ain't been really smashing them out there. I mean, we got them, but then all of a sudden some shit happens. I feel like it's like some
I mean,
conspiracy theory. They're trying to hold us down somehow.
you
So
know,
let's speak
not
about
not 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 necessarily. I mean, it's not even holding you down. And sometimes, you know, um, if you make your bed, you gotta lay in it. You know what I'm saying?
that.
What I
That
mean by
that's true
that,
also.
yeah, man, based on the transaction and into things that you've been doing out there, is gonna get you're gonna get caught. Unless you step away from it and just be strictly about the music thing and don't really. And if you talk about it, you gotta tweak it a little bit. But if you I'm just talking about it straight, where people could really get the ideas. This is what you're promoting, and they're gonna be on you, and this is what's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? And I get it. You just got
Um,
to be smart about things sometimes, and you know.
yeah, hey, listen. Every action has a reaction and has a consequence. So
That's a fact.
that's the cold facts of life. But talk to me about some of the musicians or some of the artists that you grew up listening to that were like, your inspiration. I know you started as a producer, so I'm sure on the production level, there was some definite deeper inspiration as you were building yourself, into a rap artist.
Yeah. I mean, I was more. If you notice, there's a lot of melody in my music. I was more into R&B music.
I didn't realize that. No, I didn't even hear any melodies. Yeah.
Well,
It's like
you
you're like, I mean, on the streets, it's like you're the melody king right now. It's like there's nothing
yeah.
that you do that doesn't have some melodic presence to it, and
Fact.
you do it in a way. It's almost compared with like Eminem, how he can twist words
Yeah.
in a certain dialect that makes it rhyme. The way you harmonize and melodize or melodicize, I think that's the word. We're gonna make up that word for right now, just for the purpose of time. When you melodicize words, you make them rhyme when they're not supposed to.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
that's pretty dope.
Yeah. It sounds good to the ear. So I grew up on R&B and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I was always into Usher. I was always into 112. You know what I'm saying? And my guy Craig David, guys like that I like a lot.
Man,
And of course,
I smashed a lot of women to those artists that you named right there.
exactly. And then we have Jay-Z, of course. You know what I'm saying? And that was, if you're in Haiti, you have to listen to Jay-Z. You have to listen to 50. You know what I'm saying? These guys are top dogs. I listen to them. But right now my favorite,
like Wyclef, would have been like top dog or I mean, how are they perceived over there?
not for me. Wyclef. I was never a fan of Wyclef. I was never a fan. I don't think I'm ever going to be a fan of him. I don't want to be a fan of him. But that's a different story.
Yeah, I mean, I respect him because after I performed at the Apollo, he came up to me and like I was very short, and it was dark, and he's a little bit darker of a brother, and I see this big Jamaican dude come up to me. He's like, "Yo, white boy," he's like, "Yo, you really flipped it." I was like, "Yeah, man." I was like, "Thanks," and then he's like, "No," he's like, "Yo, you really flipped it." I was like, "Oh shit!" I was like, "Hey, thanks, Wyclef, appreciate that." But then he had like something to do with Cannabis's album, and Cannabis was one of my favorite artists, and I was like, all right, I respect you, but. All right. Well,
Yeah.
anyway,
You got to respect the legends. Shout out to him. Ain't nothing going on between me and him. Shout out to him. You got to respect the legend. But there's conversation that we got to have before all that bigging you up stuff. You feel me? Just to get clarification, because you don't want to blow shit out of proportion because of how you feel. You know what I'm saying? Maybe other people feel the same way too, but at the same time, it's best to have a conversation about it before you go crazy on the media, and that's not what we do. You feel me?
Yeah, hey, listen, I respect that. You don't really see that kind of self-control from younger artists, and I don't mean to single you out and call you younger artists, like in that nature, in a negative sense. But you don't really see people have that type of self-control. Usually they're all about that, like, oh shit, yo, let me wild out and let me go viral and let me talk that shit. So this goes on live, and then and then it starts some shit, and then my name is popping. So it's like people are.
Yeah.
Back in my day, like you were considered like a clown to do that. Now, I almost feel like people expect that of you, which is so. I commend you, in you having in expressing using self-control and having a conversation, because at the end of the day, we're all men. You know what I'm saying? We should be able to.
Fact. And that's how and it depends too is how you was raised. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you was raised in a shitty ass house. Sometimes you have no control of your mouth. You got to be careful what you say. Respect. I mean, sometimes you might have a miscommunication with somebody, but that doesn't mean you can't respect him at the same time. You get what I'm saying? Like, he's a legend. I respect him as a legend. We never spoke, but maybe I have some questions and within my heart that I want to ask. That put me in a very uncomfortable place that I don't look at you as an idol. For that particular reason.
Well, listen,
I'm not a fan of you because of that,
Hey, listen, Wyclef, if you are tuning in, hit up my boy. He is a dope individual. I think you guys can have a wonderful conversation, and I think there's definitely a couple $1 million that you guys can make between each other, but that's between y'all. I just want 10% for setting it up. You know what I'm saying? Perez,
Big Zo, Big Zo shit.
Exactly. So let's talk about your first time performing. Like on stage in the States. Talk to me about how you felt right before you walked on. Because I like to take a little bit of a different approach to my interviews. Like rather than asking you all like the basic questions. Like I know I said what inspired you and stuff like that, but it's like as an artist, it's like I always wish that people would touch on the deeper part of it. Like talk to me about what's going through your mind right before you're about to step on stage as they're announcing you, or you hear your beat drop and you hear the crowd go nuts. So paint that picture for the audience to see so they can realize what a dope moment that is.
Man, listen, I think the first time I actually was on a stage, my first performance was like in school. It wasn't even my high school. It was somewhere else. We went to, it was like Prospect Heights down in Brooklyn, not too far away from the Brooklyn Museum down the block. So I went out there, did my first performance with me and my guy Kush. It was a different feeling because like when you're actually doing it, but you don't think people are watching or you have fans that really fuck with you. We had the whole school lit. Like I'm talking about from teachers to students to everybody like really fucking with us to a point where we was done. They were asking for pictures. Like they come and follow us on social media, like, yo, when you gonna do it again? When the next thing drop? And we was just like, we were doing this shit for fun. So it was just like, yo, this is really happening. We stars, bro. We made it. You know what I'm saying?
So listen, I know the feeling. Trust me, as a fellow artist, I know that feeling of all of a sudden it's like, your heart is beating. You can feel a little bit of sweat trickling down your back, and you hear the vibration of the bass of your song. And then all of a sudden, when you grab the mic and that first word and you see their reaction, like you could, there's a spotlight, so you can only really see like maybe a couple of people in the front row, but you see that they fucking with it and they know it. That's the greatest feeling of the world. And then you get in that reception and that love. It's instant gratification. I call it like the musical orgasm because it's the only thing you could equate to that. So that passion that I'm so glad we caught that on this podcast. Thank you for sharing that.
I haven't even shared that story with anybody. So you're like the first one to even, you good. You're doing very good, man. You're asking some great questions. Shout out to you for that. A lot of people do interviews
here on the Verified Podcast with the Real Lil Haiti.
Sir.
This is what we do.
Sir.
We get
yes, sir. I like that. I like that. You know what I mean? Because, you got to tap in back into the artist days when they first started and, how they felt, you know what I'm saying? Because it's a different feeling. That is a feeling that you can't get back. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to remember it all the time. Yeah, man.
Oh, man. Listen, I love reliving the glory years. And I say it on my podcast that it's like, for the people that don't know who I am or what I've done in the industry for the past 20 years, it's like I get to tell my story while learning yours. Even though it's like, it's all about you, it's like I still slip in a little shit about me in there just so I can like let the fuckers know. Listen, I've been here, I've been doing this for shit, so it's like I got to let people know. But really, it's a celebration of your journey, your accolades, and if I can relate to it, great. So that's why I like to fuck with music artists, especially someone of your caliber, because it's like you have real content to give to the people that are looking at you and saying like, oh, I'm from Haiti, I want to do music, I know I can do it. Like he's proof. Like, look, he's on the Verified Podcast. I'm saying my podcast.
But that's dope. That's dope though. You're doing that because I think a lot of interviewers, that people that interview other artists, a lot of the time the artists don't really connect with them, or you see them being mugging or upset because there's no connection really, and the artist doesn't really know about you that's asking me questions. So it's like, yo, I'm not telling you shit really, but with you it's like, with you it's like we could connect. You kind of loosen me up a little bit to kind of talk, to express myself, because at the same time I'm learning about you, who you are. So as I learn about you, I get more comfortable to tell you what I should be telling you. You know what I'm saying? So that's a dope strategy that you're doing. That's dope.
That's how I sneak my way in. That's why I want people to get like high and drunk beforehand. So even though you don't smoke or drink, and shout out all kids, don't do what I do.
No, my head is here, man. I see what you're doing. I get it, man. sober.
Right. Yeah, I mean, listen, any way that I can get in to get it more like a conversation rather than like typical interview. I'm trying to make it, like, special, at the same time, I want to get your story out exactly, what brought you to this place, how we can, big you up a little bit more, and then plans for the future, and in between all of that, we find out some intricacies like, oh shit, like this is what, kind of led him, to this level, so.
Yes, sir.
Um,
Yes, sir.
okay, we talked about your upbringing, talked about, the artists that inspired you, you know, um, so what's next for you? What's on the horizon? I mean, I could like, list the songs, Panicking, Air Force One, Bounce, and we could talk about that. But, in your own words, what's kind of next for you? And I see you booked all over the place. So I know your team is doing their work. So shout out your
Yes,
team.
sir.
Shout
Yes,
out to Is
sir.
Perez. We're going to talk about her in a couple minutes too. But,
Yes, sir.
talk to me, what's next?
Now that, I've been doing this for a little while now that I actually got a situation, I own my masters. Shout out to Perez, I own 100% of my masters. You know what I mean? And we just got to work hard. As an artist yourself, you still got to have that mindset of just going harder than you've ever been before when you was trying to get it. You know what I'm saying? So I have to go 100 times harder to keep elevating. You know what I'm saying? So right now it's just getting this shit off the ground. Reach different fan base, connect with the people. You know what I'm saying? You know, reach to a certain level where I could give back to the community. Create some charity for the kids. You know what I'm saying? Give back. I'm all
That's
about
good.
giving. I'm all about giving back. Invest in property. You know what I'm saying?
Listen,
The
give
reason
back.
why.
Listen, even give backs have their advantages. Like, I mean, you'll see, Laura, as money starts rolling in and you start like creating these foundations. There's a thing called a 501c3, not for profit. Which you could basically set up, for
Yeah,
charity. Which it is for giving back, but at the same time, it does act as an offset to some of your gains on your side, especially if
yeah,
you're running it and you're spending your time and your
yeah,
sweat equity to actually make
yeah,
that charity run. So you'll see,
yeah,
as it goes, the give backs do have their advantages, so, but it's very admirable though. So I
yeah.
respect that completely.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, coming from where I came from, coming to the States, you know what I'm saying, and not having too much, I wanna give opportunities to the kids that doesn't have, you know what I'm saying, to the family that doesn't have, because I know how that feel like. So
I
that's what's
applaud you
next.
for that.
That's what's next. That's what we're doing. We focusing on the people, man. That's all we have. Beside the music that we have, when they're not listening to that, they're going through stuff. So we got to make sure they're good,
Mhm.
they're okay. You know what I'm saying? So that's the focus, man. Making sure the people around you good, the people that's not around you good. We gonna reach out in different levels, man.
See, you ain't even a rapper. You a humanitarian. God bless you,
Listen,
brother.
we gotta take care of the people, man. We humans.
Yeah,
You know?
especially. I mean, I'm glad you touched on that because I wanted to ask your opinion on something. Because
Yeah.
speaking about
So
we're human, I've never seen uh, a society of our brothers and sisters that have been so divided like they are in today's society. I don't know how much you keep up with politics or anything like that, but in this COVID environment that we're dealing with, a lot of people are going through a lot of things right now. So the fact that you said, we're humans, I'm glad that we had this conversation so that people can say, listen, we're all human beings at the end of the day. There's no reason for us to be so divisive and divided on each other. And um, what's your opinion on what's going on in the country right now? Like I know it's affected your certain rollouts, especially with you, just getting your deal with Q Global Entertainment, which I believe they're a subsidiary of BMG,
yeah,
which salute, because
yeah,
that
yeah.
smile on your face in that video when you signed that deal, that was everything right
Yeah,
there.
yeah. We
Like,
came from a long way. So opportunities sometimes knocking. You gotta grab it if it makes sense. I mean, as far as the pandemic, honestly, um, in where my area I'm at, in the building I'm at, I actually buy food and give out to the people in here. Um, so I show love. I could honestly say, um, I wish a lot of us were stepping out that it did not affect to give out food to people, to the less fortunate, because I know a lot of people got hit hard. You
mhm.
know, yes, I just signed a deal, you know what I'm saying? But it didn't really affect me. Only reason why, because I still have a 9 to 5, and I want to make this very clear to the people watching, to the young artists coming up right now. If you can work while you do this rap shit, you know what I'm saying? Still work, man. It doesn't make you a loser to not have a 9 to 5. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at y'all right now, dead in the face, right here on the live. You know what I mean? Verified. I'm telling you right now. If you're an artist, don't be ashamed to have a 9 to 5. It's cool, man. It doesn't make you a loser. That's more money in your pocket to take care of things. And because I was able to do that, I'm able to give back to the people with that money that I made from work. Okay, like signing a deal, the money doesn't come like that right away. You get what I'm saying? Look, it's affecting a lot of artists. I can't do shows. I can't do anything. I have a 9 to 5. I'm straight. I'm good. My family's good. And I pray for the people out there, their family could be good. And that's why on my Instagram, I buy lunch for the fans. I do this thing, drop your cash app. I'm buying lunch for a few of you guys. I do stuff like that only because I know how it feels like, not to have it.
You know what's cool about a 9 to 5? Having health benefits.
Exactly. That's one thing I was going to tap in also. When you have full coverage, you fuck around, you go do a show, you break a leg.
Exactly. That's one thing. I'm gonna get to it on another podcast with a serious dude that was in the music industry that now like runs a massive insurance company. Like, just because you get a deal doesn't mean that you get your own health coverage. You are an independent contractor for the label. It's like you're not an actual employee where you could receive those employee benefits. So you'd have to, if you didn't have that 9 to 5, you'd be paying for your own benefits yourself.
Exactly.
Being that now that you signed your deal, there is going to be a certain tax implication. I mean, I was in finance for a lot of years, so it's like I did.
Yeah.
I had a 9 to 5 for years. I ran the business division for JP Morgan for business. So it's like there's a lot of things that I attribute to that world that I apply in the music world. So it's like the cool thing about having the 9 to 5 is I'm still covered with health insurance, with health benefit stuff.
And I got 2 beautiful sons, and you got to make sure they're good. You know what I'm saying? Like, you feel me? You got to make sure they're good. I got my wife, my 2 kids. You know what I'm saying? You got to make sure everybody good. This music thing, you could only doing it for how long? You know what I'm saying? So you gotta.
I've been doing it for a little while, so and I see a lot of longevity in your future, my brother. So I think
I appreciate that.
And shout out your wife, shout out your 2 kids. Let's while we're on the subject of your wife, what does she think about how you do music? Because I mean, let's be honest. I mean, the music that you have, it's gonna create that that obsession from female fans that they're gonna be over.
My lady is very supportive of me. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of things that I've done. If you've seen a couple of my videos, I might do stuff that I may go viral. It kind of like I try to not. I wouldn't say it's not a form of disrespect. It is, like, looking back at it, but that's something that I tap in with my woman before I even do it. Like, would it make you feel uncomfortable? Would you feel ashamed of me? Would you not look at me the same way? So you got to connect with your family before you do certain things, because it's not only going to affect you as an artist. I mean, it's not going to affect you as an artist. You're just going to go viral, but there's other people that you got to worry about. You got to be you got to be very careful what you're doing and not try to hurt your surroundings. And I know, you want to be that lit guy, famous, but at the end of the day, when all that shit is done, they have to be the one to deal with it. And I seen your man did this. Oh, how could you be with him? Shit like that. So you got to be careful. It's like if you put them on before you do those things, anything that anybody has to say, it won't bother them. You know what I'm saying? Unless they go and see it before you know what I'm saying? Like, you did it and then they seen it on social media.
You're probably like the most respectful rapper I've ever met in my life.
I have to be, man. Like I said, man,
that's respect right there. I don't say that in like a condescending way. I mean that, the traditional rappers like, I tell my lady whatever the fuck I tell her because I'm gonna do what I do.
Man. It's a level. Nah, fuck all that, man. That's not gangster. That's not gangster at all. You gotta be a gangster. You gotta have respect for everybody around you, your woman, your kids, people that you're dealing with business wise. You know what I mean? All that talking, I gotta tell this bitch. Nah, that's whack. That's not gangster, bro. That's not gangster at all. You know?
Listen, you the man for saying that. I so appreciate that, because so many times in today's society we have a lot of condescension, on females, and the fact that, like, that you respect your lady is great. Like me, when I see, like, my homies, and they're posting about their ladies, and they're showing appreciation for it. Like, I'll drop a comment underneath and I'll say, the way you praise your lady is amazing. And I feel like a lot of people should do that, and I respect it, because I'm a single guy. So it's like, someday, I'm focused on my bag right now. So hopefully one day, I'll meet the one who could deal with my crazy ass and be like, you know what? I really fucks with him. And I'll be like, you know what? I fucks with you because you fucks with me. I was like,
that's a fact. Now, let's be real. Let's be real. All these guys that does shit like that, when the media is dragging them, things ain't going right for them. What do they lay their head at? Let's be honest. Who's holding them down behind this closed door? Who's making sure they're good? Like, don't worry, everything's gonna be okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, long nights, like making sure, like, because a lot of these artists, let's be honest, some of them, suicidal thoughts go through your mind. Your music is not moving. You're not getting paid. I'm sure you have somebody in the back that's holding you down, that's making sure you're good mentally, physically, you know what I mean? Like, of course, sexually, stuff like that. But, let's be honest. That's, you got to have respect for somebody that's not trying to be out there to get no credit and still want to be back here holding you down. Come on.
Yeah, that's a fact. Yeah, well said. Well said.
Mm-hmm.
Real fast before we wrap up, because I know your time is valuable, and I know you got a couple different interviews. Shout out to my boy DJ Dubs. I know you're gonna be on live with him later, which I'll be there checking it out. That's the homie over there. And speaking about the homie, let's talk about Perez. How'd you link up with her? Because she's one of the greatest individuals, like, that I've met in the industry on some real cool shit. It's like we were following each other before we actually met, and then we met. I think it was at the Casanova launch party, and I was like, Perez? She's like, JopauL? I was like, yeah. I was like, oh, what up? It's like, yo, we follow each other. It's like, yes, we do. So talk about how you first met her. Talk about her involvement. Shout out to her, because she's, like I said, literally, she's probably one of the dopest human beings I've met in the industry. Yeah. So if y'all ain't fucking with her, y'all need to.
That's a fact. I tell you what, man, Perez changed my life. You know what I'm saying? This is a big word to say. I could truly say she changed my life. This is something that when you've been fighting for a very long time and you meet somebody that's like really about you, it's not about them. It's not about, oh, I want to be a star. I want to be known too. No, she made it about me. And it's my job to make it about her too. You know what I'm saying? When you get that type of quality out of somebody, you got to praise them. You feel me? So big shout out to Perez. We met on social media. She tapped in. She really been tapped in for a long time. And she was just kind of like watching to see, like, yo, let me see how this kid is, what this kid is about. And when we connected, and it was just like, we knew each other for like years. You know what I'm saying? So that's how you know when it's real. When you connect with somebody, you feel like you knew them forever. So
I wish there was like a stock market where I could basically, and put money behind her, because I know that she is going to be some top level executive,
absolutely,
at some big industry. So my money would literally be right on the ground level.
Yeah,
like this. Listen,
hey,
let me get a G on Perez right now.
I'll match you. I'll put my all. I'll put my all on that. That's a fact. I could count on that. Because of Perez, like I said, I've been doing this for a very long time. She the reason why I own my masters. There's not a lot of people that could do that. And then she coming in the game nasty. She's not playing no games. I own 100% of my masters. She fought for it. You know what I'm saying? To make sure, like, yo, listen, Haiti been doing this for a very long time. Look, this is what we're presenting to you. He did it. And not only that, when she came in, everything just changed. You know what I'm saying? Everything just changed. Motion, we're moving respectfully. We all hands on. She makes sure she a go-getter. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even know how to explain it, but she a go-getter. You know what I'm saying? She making sure the artist mentally is good. You know what I mean? If you have a manager, he's not making sure you mentally good, that's a problem, because that's what drives everything. If your artist ain't mentally right, and then you just focus on getting more things to bring on his table, like, that's not working. You going backwards. Let's fix this mental thing. Let's get it together. So when this shit comes in, you know how to kind of like attack. You know what I'm saying? So Perez been really, shout out to Perez, man, for real.
Yeah, shout out to her, man. Especially in a world where mental health is such a big issue right now. To actually be the person to check up on people, and let me take this out on my platform for anyone who sees this. Do me a favor. press pause on the video right now. I want you to just text one of your boys, just check in on them. Just the one that you know that's kind of not really all there right now. Just say, hey, how you doing? How's everything? And I do that a lot on social media. Like some people might find it weird, but it's like, yo, just checking in on you, King. Want to make sure everything's everything. You know, I'm there if you need me. It's a crazy time right now, unprecedented times that we're dealing with. So the fact that she checks on your mental health, making sure you're right, like, she's the truth. She's the truth. So shout out Perez. Yo, I appreciate you. And she was a big part in helping set this interview up. So I got so much love for her. So anything I can do for either one of you in the future, you know, please let me know.
That's love. We appreciate you, my guy. It means a lot. You know what I mean? Shout out to you too for tapping in, for showing love. You know what I mean? And I'm glad I took this interview. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah,
Appreciate
listen,
you a lot.
I'm riding with you today. And listen, my money's on you too. If I could put money on stock on you, you know, like I'm there. So if there's anything I can do for you in the future, please let me know. But
I appreciate
this point, you know, of the interview, before we wrap up, I like to put the press on you. You know, and I don't mean like the news press. I mean like, you know, the full court press right now. I want you to tell me one thing that's not documented, that you've never spoke on before, that basically shaped you into the person that you are right now.
Listen, this is a big
non-Googleable info. If I Google it and I find I bet, yo, he ain't be 100 with me. He told the story already. So I want exclusive. Lay it on me, bro.
This is a big one, you know.
Hold on. Do we have to consult your management before we talk about this? Because I don't want to.
No, it's cool. I mean,
yeah.
It's you know, it's personal. You know, I mean, it's not personal, but it's really big. You know, I'll bring it towards you, and it's gonna be big later. You know, when I tell that story, because I don't really tell the story. You know, my mother left me when I was 3 months old with my father. So to migrate to the United States to look for a better life for us, of course. So my father actually raised me from 3 months old till I was 10 years old, probably, you know. So when my father actually passed away, around 07, I was actually saving up to buy equipment to, you know, my mom didn't have it. So I'm saving my lunch money. I'm saving my shopping money to go to school clean. I save all that money along with one of my cousin, Gene. When I got the call from school that my father passed away, when I went back to Haiti to kind of like, and that was my best friend. So I'm talking about like the guy that raised me, 3 months old till I was 10, held me down. I didn't really know my mother like that until later, right? So when he passed, I had about like $3,000, around $3,000 or $2,000 that we saved up. When I went back to the funeral with my sister and my mother, they were short money for the funeral. I refused to give that money in. I said I couldn't do it because the night before I had a dream about my father, and he told me one thing. He was like, "It's okay." I don't know if it was I was feeling guilty. I don't know if that's what it was. And that's what I was seeing at that time. But I had a dream. He was telling me it's okay. You could go back to the state, get your stuff, and do your music. And I just listened to his word till this day. It hunt me down. It hurt me to the core. So that's why I had to go hard with the music, because it's not something that I do for the money. I couldn't quit. I couldn't leave it alone until I get to it. Yeah, it's the drive. I couldn't leave it alone until I get to it. Not even to a certain level, because the man that raised you, that made you, you couldn't even help out. And that was his last time on earth. That was it. It's over. It's done. This is for you giving back now. You said no. You know, till this day, I have nightmares about it. I have bad dreams about it. So it was just like, you know, with the situation that's why I said what I said. You know, Perez changed my life, because this is something that I've been chasing for a very long time. And it's supposed to make me feel good inside, because if I had quit, it's either suicide that I had in my head, because you can't sleep at night knowing that the man that raised you,
you can't quit. No,
you know what I'm saying?
No way.
So I had all type of thoughts, suicidal thoughts. I was going through a lot. So Perez came around and kind of switched things around. And of course, with myself being strong, kept going. And I finally met Perez, and she made things happen. And that's why I say I owe her life, and she means a lot to me because it's more than the money, it's more than everything. Because I'm talking about the God that raised me. So that's a story that I never told nobody, beside my team. So you know it now, and for the people watching, it's really deep. It's deeper than music. It's deeper than money. You know what I'm saying? You could understand if you lose somebody. So you imagine he raised me. He technically breed me, left me at 3 months old. But shout out to my mother because she held me for 9 months and she did her thing too. I won't take no credit away from her, but to be a single father, to raise a child, I'm talking about 2 kids by yourself. That's different.
I can totally respect it. And just know that he's watching over you, and he is basically you're shining in his light right now. And every time that you make it, just know that he is smiling and looking down like, yo, that's my boy. That's who I raised, and he's doing his damn thing. So
that's the fact.
You have everything to celebrate, in his name. I appreciate you getting like real personal, real deep. Thank God I'm wearing glasses because there's a little tear that.
Hey man, hey man, and fuck all that gangster shit. I try not to cry right now because every time I tell that story, surprisingly, maybe because we on that on the Zoom.
Yeah, man, listen, we on that high level. We feel each other. You know what I'm saying? So, but I'm gonna go off camera. Then I'm gonna ball out, especially because I've been drinking a little bit. So I'm emotional now. I'm gonna call my dad when I get off this live. I'm like, Dad, I fucking love you, man.
Yeah, man, that's why that's what makes me the father I am today right now because shout out to the guys out there as being the father, don't walk away, man.
All fathers out there. Yeah,
all fathers out there, man.
Shout out DJ EFN. He has the Fatherhood podcast. I don't know if you've ever checked it out, but it's dope. It's dope. I mean, it's all about being a new father, and
shout out to all the fathers, man. We don't get a lot of credit, so I had to make sure, man. We don't get a lot of credits, man. There's a lot of good, we have some good guys out there, man. That's really trying, that's really pushing for their kids, taking care of their kids. Shout out to all of them, man. Real talk.
Right. Shout out to all the fathers.
Sir.
Shout out to all the females that call me daddy. So we're gonna wrap it up with that. My name is JopauL. This is the Verified Podcast brought to you by Radio Pushers and ResultsToKnowHeight.com. We were just chopping up with the Real Lil Haiti. Y'all can check him out on social media. Got shit popping all over the place. Love y'all. Peace and love.
Yes, sir. Lil Haiti.